and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today we're going to show you what I found while cleaning up here, doing a little spring cleaning around the house. And I came across this. It's the DMC Stitcher's Color Guide with all of the 6-stranded embroidery floss and pearl color cottons back when they only had 360 solid colors. So yeah, this is from the 90s. I've had this for quite some time, and many a bracelet were designed from looking at this chart here. And I kind of wanted to talk today about colors and why this can be a great tool, but I have some other ideas as well. One of the things I loved about this is these fades. In this book, you can actually kind of see some colors that really go splendid together. And if that's what you're wanting to do, these things are great. Mind you, they don't make these things like this anymore, where this actually has real string in it. And some of it you can see it's been kind of squished from not being put away properly for God knows how many years. But they don't make it like this anymore. Now they actually print it all glossy and on paper, and I'm sure it saves them a fortune. I bet you this was just crazy manpower to make this happen. But I have held on to this obviously for many years now. But there's some drawbacks of having a book like this. Like I said, it's great to be able to see like this grouping of colors right here, right? That would make a great bracelet, and same over here, or this grouping here. But you can't just take what would this color of blue look like against maybe this orange right here. You would have to tear the whole thing apart in order to make that happen. So there are some disadvantages to it. Mind you, it does kind of give you a perspective of, so there's only this little bit of purple right there. Then it comes into blue, which takes up a bigger chunk of it. And then take a look. We start with green down here. Then it's this whole next row, the row after that, and part of the row after that. Mind you, where's yellow? You have a little bit here and a few at the top over here. That's it for yellow. So having one of everything doesn't necessarily pan out like you might think, because the colors aren't whatever. And I have people that tell me, like, because my supplier has 447, and they're like, oh, but DMC has almost 500 now. That's great. But I'm not sure that necessarily there's something, these new colors, the colors that aren't there, are going to be so significant that matters that much. Now, mind you, this is what I've done. I went and got 500 bobbins and one of every color of the 447 that were available from my supplier. And this is what I have. And I like this kind of stuff. Mind you, you can thank my wife for how this is all organized, and how we have all the greens kind of together and like that. She likes to put it that way. Me, I like mixing it up a bit, because you never know. Maybe this purple here might look really good with maybe one of these bright blues over here. I don't know. I like seeing what can happen. I like being able to change it up, be able to look at these things, and it's even just having this out like this, it's so inspiring. It's like, ooh, what can I do next? I get a little excited about that. So so would I recommend buying for the 447 or whatever brand you're using, having one of each? Yes. With this, I took 1/4 of every skein and wound it onto the bobbin with the number on it. So can you see that? Will that focus? So that way I can pick and choose and say, okay, that makes a nice combination, whatever. I can order those up and have them sent to my door, or go to the shop down. It's a long bus ride. But I can go down to the shop and I could buy these at the shop because I would have all the numbers for it. Um, so yeah, having one of everything, very nice. I used the other 3/4 of it. I turned it all into bracelets, and I figured that way I could actually pay for this with the bracelets work that I made. So essentially, having a sampler was free if you count all of the money I made off the bracelets for this. So that was pretty cool. But that said, would I buy 447 of it again? Like, would I be happy to use up all those colors? Not really. Um, there was a bit of a struggle towards the end of using up all these colors because there's a lot of drab browns and greens, and I wasn't really happy with that. But having had them all, I was able to do this bag. Now, this is my wife's. I made this probably a couple of years ago, so that's kind of shows why it looks a little bit worn. Um, there is 144 colors in this bag, and it's in groups of 4. And we went through this whole set here and found like, okay, 4 blues. And so then there's their 4 blues. And then like, what else would we have? And this was sort of a, I don't even know what that is. What do you call that? It's a reddish color, but we just found things that kind of worked. Here you have like an yellow to red combination that's fun. Purples, and there's even 2 sets of grayscale on either end, kind of a whitish one here and the darker one on this side. And we pulled as many sets of 4 as we could come up with that looked interesting. And this side of the bag is different. See, and with that, I produced this. Could there have been more? Maybe, but the rest of the colors they just weren't as interesting as what I already had kind of in this kind of grouping. Mind you, this is perhaps one of my most difficult bags I've ever made. It started at the bottom with these diamonds, and you have these colors on this side and a whole different set of colors on the other side. So yeah, that was definitely a pain. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to list all 144 colors that was in this bag, so that way you guys can take a look. Maybe you guys want to do something like this for yourselves. I'm not sure that the grouping is correct, but it'll be all the colors I actually used to order when we put in the string order for this. And maybe you decide you want to go bigger with it. Maybe you want to try to do all 447, or if maybe you use DMC and you try to go for as close to 500 as it'll get you. Kudos. I'll be the first to hit like on Instagram or wherever you put that. This was just my little experiment, and I kind of wanted to explain how I got to this and how I can use something like these to help decide what happens with other projects that come along. It gives me a better example of how many yellows there actually are available. And because it is from my supplier, I know that this is exactly what I'm going to get should I order it. Somebody recently pointed out that one of the colors doesn't exactly, when you buy it from China, it doesn't turn out the same as what DMC has. So everything that's in my sample box actually came from my supplier, so I'm assured that it is going to look the way I expect it to look when I get the delivered to my house. So I think that there's an advantage to that as well. If you've got other ideas on this, leave it in the comments below. I'm open to suggestions. I can't say that I've got it completely figured out perfect, but I think this is pretty good, and I think this is a great beginning. If anybody wants to give this a try, I definitely recommend this. These totes are probably about $6 each. and then you need 500 bobbins. And the leftover ones, you can use those for while you're making up bracelets or, saving aside some extra string. So um, hopefully you learned something from this. If so, please do leave a like, maybe share it with your friends. Um, I did want to thank all my Patreon supporters. You guys are what make this possible. I appreciate you guys more than you can possibly imagine. And yeah, you guys really make this all available. So thank you very much. And until next time, don't get your strings in a bunch.